Now, the standoff continues between NASA and Jubilee over the proposed amendments to the election laws. But what exactly are these changes about? And how will they change what was agreed upon between NASA and Jubilee before the August 8th polls? Remember, it's because of this amendment bill that the talks at Bomas also collapsed. But that is the talks between IEBC, Jubilee, as well as NASA. Now, Joel Kiriungi now joins us on the other end of the studio to talk us through this amendment bill. Joel, good evening. Good to see you. And can you please tell us more about this contentious bill?
Well, thank you very much, Yusuf. This week we saw Jubilee MPs introduce amendments to the Election Laws 2017 bill. But you might wonder, what exactly do these amendments entail? First is the parallel transmission of election results. Jubilee wants to have both electronic and manual transmission of results, but in the likelihood of a discrepancy between the electronic results and the manual results, then the manual results will prevail. They also want to introduce tough measures for electoral officials who are found either to have failed to sign their results declaration forms or even altered these forms, and these individuals will be liable to face a jail term of not more than 5 years. Another amendment being proposed by the Jubilee team is in the IBC decision-making process. Now, what the Jubilee team wants is, in the likelihood that the chairperson of the IBC is unable to execute his or her duties, then the deputy chairperson will take over. In the event that both the chairperson and the deputy chairperson are unable to carry out their duties, then the commissioners will sit down, agree, and select an acting chair. There's also the issue of the vote recount, and Jubilee wants the Supreme Court to be mandated to order a recount in the event of a presidential election petition. Now, if I was to take you back 1 year ago, we had a lot of contentious issues around the IBC, and for that reason, a joint parliamentary select committee was formed, being co-chaired by both James Orengo and Mr. Kiraitu Murungi. And part of the agreement that was developed out of these meetings at Windsor Hotel was that elections should be done using ICT, and that BVR kits should be sourced within 8 months before the election to allow for testing and training of personnel. There's also the issue of the forensic audit on the voters' register to be carried by a reputable international audit firm. Another issue that came out from the Windsor Agreement was the selection of 7 new full-time IBC commissioners that we have now. If you recall, there was call for the exit of the Isaac Hassan-led team, and these commissioners were formed by a selection panel comprising of 4 members chosen by the Parliamentary Select Committee and 5 members of the clergy. Then, of course, having the presidential results announced at the polling station. Now, recently, this month actually, NASA announced what it terms are irreducible minimums. These are basically what it wants done in preparation of next month's election. And what they want is the exit of IBC personnel. Now, one person that has been mentioned adversely is IBC CEO, I beg your pardon, that is Mr. Ezra Chiloba, and the Algray company produced non-standardized electoral forms and should be replaced with a new ballot printing firm. Then there's also the issue of ICT experts, and NASA wants international independent experts to manage the ICT framework within the elections. And under the ICT aspect, NASA is also very clear that they would prefer Oracle Consulting to manage the results transmission system. They also want 291 returning officers being selected to manage the election, and the current returning officers to take the role of constituency election managers and provide logistical support to these new ROs. Well, it begs a fundamental question for Jubilee and NASA. Just as they did with the Windsor Agreement, will this time round, will they be able to come together and reach an agreement ahead of next month's election? Back to you, Yusuf.